So here's a question from Marv. He's using Filmora 15.5.26. I wish I'd gotten to there, but I'm not. But I believe I can solve his question anyway. He wants to attach two objects to one thing that he wants to track. And let's show him a couple of ways on how to do that. Okay, so Marv understands the problem correctly, that he can only attach one object to his motion tracker in a video clip. And let's start with this one here. This is the traditional way to tell you if you want to track two objects, or you want to have two objects tracking one thing in the video clip. In this case, let's just track this trailer here because it's fairly easy to follow. And we're going to use the red arrow. The first thing, of course, that we do is we click the motion tracker and let it track the length of the video clip. And let's just follow, and we can see the video clip stays pretty much intact until we get to where that car cuts in front of it. And I think we lost the motion tracking at that point, but it's not important for our discussion here. Now, if we put two objects down here, and I'll put this object down here, this green box here, and disregard the green arrow. We're using this video clip right here. We've done the motion tracking, and we can now select an element. And let's just go ahead and put our arrow up here relative to the motion tracker. Okay. So we go back here and we select the red arrow. We can see we have the red arrow, we have the green arrow, but we can only select one of them. So we'll select the red arrow. So the red arrow has now been attached to the motion tracker for this clip here. And let's see how well it does. It actually doesn't seem to do very well, but it is kind of following it a little bit side to side, but the height seems to be a bit of an issue. So anyway, that's our one tracker. Now, the traditional method of adding a second tracker is to take a copy of the video, and I'm going to turn off the magnetic timeline for a second. I'm going to move these guys up one line. And I'm going to make a copy of this. So I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to copy. I'm going to select track 2, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it. And so now I have a tracker here and a tracker here, but there's nothing attached to the second tracker. Let's go back to the beginning. And right now what we're showing is we have this second one selected here. Let me just make it a little bit larger. We have this one selected, and let's now attach the green text box. And we're going to attach the green text box to this right here. What we're going to do, however, with the green text box is we're going to get rid of the arrow, which is layer number 2. So we'll just hit the delete can, and then we select our green arrow text, and we go up in the basic, or go down right here and use the position to position it. And let's see if we can do it this way, and let's scale it down a little bit and see if it does a better job. Okay, that is the one that we have assigned to this clip right here. So let's play that and see how well that does. So it's doing a little bit better following. Of course, it's not going to scale because it doesn't scale, but it is following the truck just the way it is. So as I said, the way to line these objects up is not to move the object on the screen, it's to use the, again here, like for example, our red arrow wasn't lined up very well. And so if we wanted the red arrow to line up properly, we should be using the position here. And let's just lower this a little bit down to right here at the tracker. And hopefully this will lock it in place. And let's just go back again and play it. Yeah, it's still doing pretty good, but since the truck is getting a little bit smaller, the arrow kind of gets out of place. So that was my mistake initially. I didn't use the coordinates of the item, the tracker object that I'm putting on the screen. You need to adjust it with these in order to get it to follow the object that you've selected in your video clip. So this is method 1. So let's look at method number 2. Method 2, we're just going to go ahead and create our own little tracker object. And so I'm going to get rid of this one item here, and I'm going to get rid of the red arrow. And I'm just going to take this green box here. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm just going to drag down the object that I had initially here, which is this one here. So as we can see, this object right here has 2 layers. The bottom layer, let's see, the top layer, or layer 1, is the text, and the bottom layer is the green arrow. Now we still have our tracker over here, and we have none selected to it. We're going to go ahead and select the green arrow text. We can select both the text and the arrow because they are just one object. And let's get rid of this thing here. We don't need that. And let's turn on our visible tracker. And we remembered from version 1 that we needed to use the position of this to get things going. Now keep in mind that this has 2 layers in the object, so each of the 2 items would have to be brought over. So we'll go ahead and bring this over, and let's scale it way down. Let's go sideways with it, like so. And let's move it back out a little bit, right here to the side, and up a little bit, like so. So it is relative to our tracker. Now we're going to choose the other layer, which is the box, and we're going to put that right over on top. And again, we would use these here, the position, X and Y positions, and I think we'll put it right up here, and we'll go ahead and scale it down a little bit so it is not as big. And we're going to put it right there. So here we go, and now that we have selected that, we have 2 layers within the text or within the object that we're placing here, the object being the green arrow and text. So anyway, it's really doing a lousy job tracking. But the question was, how do you get 2 things into one? Well, you can create one of these things very simply yourself, and let's just do that. To do that, one would add a title, something like the basic title. Okay, I'm just going to go in here in favorites because I use the default title all the time. And here's the default title, and we have it right here. And in this case, we go into the advanced mode because we can get rid of the title. And what we can substitute in place with it is a box, a text box. And there's our text box. And then the other thing we can do, we can get another object, we can get an arrow. And here's an arrow. Now, on the arrow, we don't really need the text. We don't need it there. So we'll delete that, and we will shape it out and make it smaller, or whatever. And we can now point it in any direction that we want. And we can also give it a color. Let's see what color we want to choose. I believe this is for the text portion of the arrow, and since we aren't going to use that, we have to go all the way down here to the shape fill. And let's make the shape fill red. And we'll make that our red arrow. And we can put a border on and all that other stuff, but we don't, that's not really the point of the exercise here. And let's do our text, and likewise, if we had wanted to change the color on that, we could do that. Again, it's the shape fill we're talking about. And, well, we can keep the gray, but let's change down the opacity. And let's have a shape border. And let's make it red. And we don't seem to be able to move it down. Here we go. Thickness, we can make it a little bit thicker. Here we go. And if we wanted to change the text, we could, but we're wasting time here. Anyway, the point is we now have these two objects, and in order to position them correctly, we have to get out of where it was at. And so instead of searching for the position stuff for this, we would actually use it here on the single object. And on the single object, we do have the X and Y positions, and we can now move them around. And again, keep in mind, we have the layers right here, layer 1 and 2. So we are positioning them individually. And let's just choose layer 2, and we can rotate that some more however we want it. But mainly we can move it in and out. So we'll just have it like so. I think maybe we can move it up a little bit. Okay, so now we go down to our object here, or our video clip. I was used the wrong terminology, and you see we have nothing linked to it. We can now look for our default title, which is what we use to create this. And so this is way number 2 in getting something to track, or two objects, or two elements. These are elements of one object. Again, you can only associate one object, but an object can have more than one element in it. And so let's see how that one works. And we can see that it's generally working. Not as well as I would like to have it work, but that's basically it there. So that was method number 2. Method number 3, I've never done this before, so I'm going to do it right now. So in method 3, what we're going to do is let's get rid of these two, and let's bring in our two objects. And I'm going to go ahead and use the red arrow. And I'm going to use the green text that I have right here. And in the green text, we're going to get rid of the arrow itself. So let's just delete that. Okay, so now we have two objects. And here's my thought. I think we can do this. What we're going to do is make a compound clip. So we're going to create a compound clip. We're going to, well, let's just leave it. Let's not waste time giving stuff names. Now, mind you that in this case here now with our tracker, again it says none because we removed what was linked to it before. And now we're going to do the, well, that tells you right there that that option does not work. I was going to use this compound clip, but the compound clip is not an option we can choose. So basically, I've given you two options. The third option, unfortunately, didn't work. But if I check import from computer, yeah, I could maybe export this and bring it back in, whatever. Basically, I've shown you two options. The one was to use two copies of the video clip, one for each one of the objects that you wanted to link to the tracker. And the second option was to create your own custom object that had two elements in it, the arrow element and the text box element. And I showed you how to do that. So those are the ways you can do it.